I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet, saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. All right, how are we doing out there all across this great republic of ours and around the world? It's that time once again, and finally, the last show of the year for 2016, the Conservative Syndicate. We're glad to have you with us today, and we hope you enjoy the show that we have set up for you. This is our last live broadcast for 2016, and we're looking forward to an even better 2017. Perhaps not quite as negative in terms of talking about what's going on out there in the world of Congress and the White House, but I'm sure we'll have, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Let's look at it this way. Everything that you didn't hear and see from the media during the Obama administration, you're going to hear about the Trump administration. Every single aspect, every little thing. Like I said, having conversations with friends and relatives over the Christmas week holidays, and some people weren't even the slightest bit interested in what happened in the election. Some of them were dazed and confused. Some of them were just curious. But the one thing I kept saying to all of them is, we're going to know every time Donald Trump passes gas. And we're going to know why he passed gas, or their thoughts as to why he passed gas, and their thoughts as to what he should be eating instead of what he's eating to keep from passing gas. It's going to be that kind of an administration. For the media, you're going to find out that the media can actually investigate when they want to. But I also expect...
So, John, what you're trying to tell me is that the media is going to be Trump's ass.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is and I'm already seeing the pattern, already seeing it. And you got to pay really close attention to this, folks. You are going to see, there's a difference between, let me put it this way. I'm just going to say it flat out. You are going to see more fake news than you have ever seen before. Absolutely. Everything. You're going to see, I was just thinking about it today. One of the things on my social site, and I had another article I was going to talk about, open up a show with today, but this would be much simpler to cover at this point in time. Maybe perhaps later we can do the other stuff. Okay, but here's the article that I looked at here. All right, very simple article, and you would think it really means not too much, but I want you to listen carefully to what this is about. Donald Trump's trying to set up entertainment for your thing. Okay. All right. Donald Trump's trying to set up his entertainment for his inauguration, right?
Yeah.
And the reports are right now is that he is only going to have like 3 inaugural events compared to Barack Obama, who had, I think, like 7.
10.
10, was it? Okay, yeah, it was some way out there number. Anyway, so, besides the fact that Trump is already saving us.
I mean, Obama had Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, U2.
Yeah. It was, it was a tour kind of thing. But here's the point, and really listen to me closely here. What's going on here? one of the groups, I guess, or one of the facets of entertainment is going to be the Rockettes. Okay, they symbolize New York, and perhaps that's why Trump chose them. The media would have you say that he chose them because nobody else in New York wanted to do it. But here's the point. I'm going to read you the first couple of paragraphs of an article that's printed on this, and I want you to understand this is what fake news looks like. See, people, we're talking about fake news. People don't know how to recognize it. And it was obvious. I mentioned briefly yesterday a conversation I had on Facebook with some people about some statements that were made about Trump, allusions that he was, because he's holding all these thank you rallies, that he's basically, these are signs of a tyrant. Well, that is fake news. That is somebody in the media taking something with no evidence, no substance or anything else, and just throwing it out there and saying, this is what it means. Okay? And a lot of the people that were responding to it couldn't understand what I was saying. It took me like 10 times of saying, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm not talking about Obama. I'm talking about what the media is saying. Okay, you got to read between the lines here. Anyway, here's the story. Rockette speaks out about Trump inauguration gig. Okay, this isn't called the Wrap. It's a Yahoo kind of thing, okay? First couple of paragraphs here real quick. An anonymous member of the world-famous Rockettes spoke to Marie Claire about the decision to perform at President-elect Donald Trump's upcoming inauguration and says the dancers learned about the news from friends. If I had to lose my job over this, I would, said the Rockette, who was referred to as a pseudonym Mary throughout the story. There is a divide in the company now, which saddens me most. Mary said she was blindsided by the news that she would have to perform for Trump, telling Marie Claire that she found out through text messages. The majority of us said no immediately. Then there's a percentage that said yes, for whatever reason, whether it's because they're young and uninformed, or because they want the money, or because they think it's an opportunity to move up in the company when other people turn it down. Here's my point. Anonymous member of the Rockettes. Unnamed, pseudonym Mary. That's fake news. They created somebody so that they could say something they wanted to say and not have to name the source. Okay? This is anonymous member or pseudonym is the cousin of anonymous source. Okay? This is what the media does. Anonymous source means that somebody has made something up, and they can't tie it to an actual person, but they want to get the thought out there. I mentioned yesterday in the show, they're like defenders or attorneys in a courtroom. You ask a question of the witness because and you know the question is going to be objected to, and you know the judge is going to sustain the objection. But that's not the intent of asking it. Well, the intent of asking it is to plant it in the minds of the jurors.
Here's what they call that. That's called a poison pill.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so this is what's going on here. This is what you can expect to see. You're going to see more anonymous sources, more unnamed sources, more pseudonyms, people that are supposedly just totally distraught with what's going on with the Trump administration, and we've got to do something to stop it. And this is and Trump is still going to he's going to be the worst nightmare this country's ever had. And it's fake news. These are the identifiers. We will identify for you in this show fake news. Fake news is when you're planting a story out there with sources that you are not willing to name.
Well, here's one for you that I kept hearing today. Donald Trump is walking back all his promises he made on the campaign. Well, the man's not even in office yet. How can he walk back anything?
Yeah. And what, because he's toned down his rhetoric a little bit, means he's walking things back? And so why are they putting that out there? Why are they saying Donald Trump is walking things back? Why? So that if Donald Trump actually does what he says he's going to do, they can say, oh, he's flip-flopped. See, this is what we've got to pay attention to now, more than ever before, because these stories are going to hit us on a daily basis. And the average person is going to read them, just like they normally do, and take it, as being the truth, when all it is just another attempt to persuade, to convince, to lie, to deceive, and to put something out there that really isn't there. And that basically epitomizes the entire Obama administration. One of our quotes yesterday, we don't operate on innuendo and insinuations and allegations. We operate on decisions that are made. Well, if a decision is made, we're going to destroy Donald Trump at all costs, then everything else becomes relevant and everything else becomes justified.
Well, I think it could be, not to get all conspiratorial, but it could be even worse because in the National Defense Authorization Act, they put a little thing in there that sets up a quote unquote advisory council, bipartisan advisory council to check out quote unquote fake news sources, and so they could go ahead and deem them as propaganda or whatever in the attempt to maybe even take them off the internet, quote unquote. So we now have the government, both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, doing this. Our government is now going to be, it's basically, the Bureau of Truth out of the government. The government's going to tell us what's true and what's not true? Really? Do we want the government doing that?
Yeah. Okay, we got to go to a break here. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we should have Audrey Russo with us. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. 866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, where right is never wrong.
All right, guys, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I am your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we've got with us Audrey Russo doing her last stint with us for the year, as this is our last live broadcast for 2016. How are you doing tonight, Audrey?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to next year. Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, Audrey, I mentioned it earlier. It was probably towards the end of last week. You know, everybody's making such a big deal about protecting the Obama legacy. And I really wanted to go out of my way to piss off all the liberals that follow me on a regular basis and tell me how wrong I am. And so I said, okay, this is we dedicated a song to Barack Obama, and it was called White Christmas. And and I took so much heat.
White Christmas.
Yeah, well,
she got it with no instantly. It was like it's like, hey, Cinnabon, little thing for Carrie Fisher. Oh no, you bastard! You don't respect her. Ah!
Yeah, I had so much fun dealing with that because the way I just put it out there. I said, you know, I actually got a campaign letter from the Obama administration. Somehow I made their love list.
Really?
I get all their stuff, and it said something along the line of, I think we're talking about the fact that it was Christmas or whatever. But anyway, they said we want to send the Obamas their last Christmas card, their last White House Christmas or something like that. And I just picked up on it. I said, okay, I'll send them that. Okay, and so I sent them Bing Crosby singing White Christmas. And I posted it, and I said, now you guys are I know what's going to be said before you say it, but I don't care. I'm taking my parting shot at Barack Obama as one of those angry white males that have been labeled and ostracized and criticized for the last 8 years. I'm taking a parting shot at the guy. Yeah, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, like the ones I used to know. All right.
Well, you could have went with, hey there, don't you go where the Huskies go, don't you eat that yellow snow.
Oh, ding, bang, boom, yeah.
Well, and then Ron Edwards sent me one. It was called It's the Most Wonderful Time in 8 Years.
Yeah, I love that one.
I love that.
So anyway, yeah, my parting shots. Okay, if you're going to play the race card, all right, yeah, I'll match you. All right, we'll do that. Anyway, so how was your Christmas, Audrey? Let's talk about that just for a couple of minutes here. Get you warmed up.
Good and nice and cold, like, not too cold, but cold the way we like it up in the Northeast. About in the 40s, upper 30s, low 40s, and quiet.
Oh, well, I tell you what, your weather is just like it is out here in California. This is the coldest winter we've had in a long time.
Get out.
Yeah. Our temperatures at night are around 40 degrees during the day. If we hit 55 in the last couple of weeks, it's a warm day here. It's been.
I'm talking about daytime. Your nighttime was our daytime.
Yeah. Well, it's they call it climate change, and we call it weather. And
we call it weather. Like last year, we had that with the El Nino, and it was the most depressing Christmas. Christmas Eve was 74 degrees. I wanted to hang myself. I swear, it was horrible. How do you bake in that?
Oh, that's funny.
On the air conditioner, and if you have to, you
not in December. You got to put it back in the window. Are you kidding? No.
Hey, now I understand one other thing. I want to ask you about this. My wife's kidney specialist is Jewish. And she told me that it's very rare that Hanukkah starts on Christmas Eve, I think.
Yeah, it's extreme. I don't remember it in my lifetime. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I think she said something like it's only happened like 3 or 4 times in history that Hanukkah and Christmas have started on the same day. I said, well, I don't know. You'd have to check that against the Jewish calendar, which is only three.
But it's very cool. Yeah, it was very cool that the first night of Hanukkah was Christmas Eve. Very cool.
Yeah, and she was, I said, another thing that happened this year, I said that has to do with Hebrew tradition or history, is that we had blood moons this year. There's Jewish historical significance in that, written about in the Old Testament, blood moons and stuff like that. So I said, maybe these are all signs or omens of good things to come. I don't know. Let's hope so.
Well, I think, and the third one, the third amazing thing was that Trump is elected president, and we're going to have him in January 20th. So there you go, 3 miracles in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't mean that sarcastically, because, I've been a big Trump supporter from the beginning, but...
Yeah.
You know what the best part of that is? Hillary Clinton is not going to be president.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught that Branko's cartoon where it shows. Did you see that? The latest. I mean, he does so many. He's amazing. But the one with Baby New Year just kind of missing the missile, and it said Hillary President Hillary Clinton, and the Baby New Year said, "Whew."
Oh yeah, I don't know what SNL is going to do. They're gonna. Well, I don't know.
Stick my fingers down my throat. But go ahead.
Well, I guess Alec Baldwin will now have a regular job. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is that what you call a job? Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's get into our top 10 here.
I don't think I ever told you. I waited. I know his brother, his youngest brother, Stevie. Well, I haven't talked to him in years, but we used to wait tables together in the city.
Oh, well, I've met Steven a few times. He does.
When you see Steven, tell him that Audrey, who used to wait tables with him at American Pie, I've been trying to get in touch with him for years. I just don't. I never seem to connect. But he worked as well as I did at my very dear friends. Her and her brothers owned several restaurants in the city, and we worked at American Pie. Yeah.
Wow.
See, it's a small world.
Yeah.
And Steven became a Christian.
Yes, he did.
And I the first time I met him, we were down at a Christian comedy show down in San Diego, and he came in there. He started some ministry with it's like a youth skateboard ministry or something like that.
Yes, it's an extreme sport. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came out and gave his testimony about his maid is the one, I guess, that actually led him to Christ. And the story was really fascinating. He was telling.
I'll say there were others that had planted seeds and watered them. One was me. One was my friend Claire, and another was his one of his relatives.
Yeah. Well, as he told us,
news anywhere else, folks. I tell you right now, you're not going to get this news anywhere else like that.
And I understand his brother, one of his brothers, also became a Christian.
Yeah. Well, it was really funny the way he described his family. He described him as Ozzy and Harriet on acid. And he was telling us how the maid had hired him, and she started talking to him about Jesus and everything, and he was saying, well, it's just so fortunate that you came into our life, and she said something to the line of, oh, you think this was by accident? And he said he looked at her weird. She says, I was sent up here from Mexico just to find you. And he laid out this whole story about how there was this ministry down in Mexico. These people were actually coming into the United States for the purpose of targeting people that were famous and leading them to Jesus. And she was chosen for him. That kind of thing. It was very unique story. But anyway. Oh, wow. So we've just blown about half the show on this. Let's see. All right. Hey, let's get to our top 10 here. We were talking earlier about the media and about how much more and the element of fake news is going to come in. And our number 10 quote here on our list kind of alludes to that. This is from Leslie Moonves at an investor conference on February 29th on this year. And she was commenting on Trump's ability to generate ratings, how he was able to just capture ratings just by whatever he said, 145 characters, and this guy's on the news for the next couple of days. And she says it may not be good for America, but it's damn good for CBS. And this is kind of alluding to my thought as I was projecting earlier, just when we started the show, is that we're going to see fake news at a whole new level. I was just talking about the Rockettes. There's an anonymous Rockette with a pseudonym of Mary who's upset that she has to dance for Donald Trump. And I'm saying this is how you identify fake news.
I'm just curious. Did Leslie did he become transgender? Leslie a man. He's a man.
Yeah, well, the point being is that this is what the news media is doing now, and been doing for a while, but we're going to see it more. We're going to see more anonymous sources, unnamed sources, and so that they can tie what they want to say to somebody that actually doesn't exist, to keep from being, slander or, accused of libel or whatever. That's what I expect to see.
Very good at that. They're very good at that. You could tell that with Obama. They know exactly how to say something and not say it, which goes to their incredible deception. You look at this. This is going to be quite entertaining in many ways, because they are going to go full out psychotic now.
Yeah.
Because they cannot handle this. Isn't this what has been going on for years with the participation trophy, that everybody wins, nobody loses, right. Everybody gets the same. And so now that they can't have what they want, they have no coping skills. Nothing. They haven't lost. They don't know how to lose, which is probably the greatest thing you can learn in your life, is how to lose, how to fail. Anybody can win easily, but it's how you lose that matters. And they've never had that experience. We're looking at people that are either going to go with fake news, which is what they've been doing all along, or they're going to go postal, and that's going to hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, just in the same way that the Democrats expose themselves as socialists this year, we're going to see the media expose themselves as the psychotics they are. It's amazing. I've been channel surfing. I channel surf every night for about 45 minutes once I get out of post here before our shows come on. The shows my wife and I watch. And it's about a 45-minute dead time where I just kind of surf around. What's the big topic tonight? What are they talking about tonight? And I'll usually start out with Fox News. And I think last night they were talking about the backstabbing of Israel. That was their topic. And then when I flipped over to CNN, they were covering the story about the Rockette. So I'm like, okay.
Two very similar stories, yes, and they hold the weight and the same effect on the entire world.
Yeah, and then and Lawrence O'Donnell was talking about some 14-year-old girl who was trying to raise money for some thing that's going on out there in Chicago or something like that. So it's like, they don't want to cover the relevant stuff. And, this story next week, we're going to be talking a lot about what's going on with this Israel thing, because there's no doubt in my mind that Obama was behind this resolution thing. Of course.
Well,
said no.
Yeah, well, you had, of course, Kerry make his completely absurd speech about Israel. And I don't know, again, if you saw Branko, what he did. He had Kerry in between Netanyahu and Hamas. Hamas has a piece of paper that says, demands death to all Jews. And Kerry says to Bibi, could you at least meet him halfway? But isn't it true? You're castigating again the only ones that are looking for peace and saying nothing about what, because they're totally and completely insane and in cahoots. That's what they're doing.
Well, I have come to the conclusion here that Obama has allowed his Islamic roots to determine his ideology when it comes to the Middle East. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm not saying that he's more Muslim than he is anything else. I don't think he's Muslim anymore, and I think he's Christian.
Well, I think he's an atheist, with an affinity for Islam.
Well, I think he's more like a chameleon. I call him a chameleon. He's whatever he needs to be, depending on who he's talking to. But we're going to see a lot of weird stuff coming out of these people. Anyway, we got to go to our break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation here. Number 10 is Leslie Moonves at an investor conference that, Donald Trump's ratings may not be good for America, but they're good for the networks. Stay with us right here. We'll be right back.
REELTalk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, where right is never wrong. All right. Hey, we are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives, our last live broadcast of 2016, and we're closing it out with not only Joe, my good partner in crime here, who's just done a hell of a job this year for me. Joe, I'll never be able to thank you enough for the stuff you've done for the show these past couple years that we've been together on this. And then, of course, we've got Audrey Russo from REELTalk Radio out there in New York. I got to ask you, Audrey, how does one have allergy in New York in wintertime?
Those are indoor allergies, dust mites. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of times it comes from the heat.
Oh,
see?
I
get heat too on the.
Okay. Okay, so your air is polluted.
Well, not outside. I mean, outside that's not going to bother me because whatever I'm allergic to outside during the year when it's warm is dead now. So.
Yeah. I was just curious. I heard you mentioned allergies, and I went, in New York in the middle of winter. I mean, like, what's growing out there?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of liberal diseases, but other than that, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. You got me there. I almost gagged on that one. All right. All right. Along this line here, just a quick mention here. We were talking about this number 10 quote here. Good for America, but not good for America, but damn good for CBS, meaning or inferring that Donald Trump is not good for America, but the ratings are good. I tried to find this clip out there. Apparently, it came from an anonymous TV producer on April 14th to Slate. People running across the runway, I guess, trying to catch Hillary Clinton on her first campaign event, first of three, and and it was picked up. So the TV producer said, "We are horrible. Why do we do this?" Isn't that really the phenomenal question? Why does the media do what they do? I mean, we know, but I think that's the $64 question that most liberals need to ask, if they had the sense to ask it, is that why does the media do what they do? That kind of thing. So,
because they're trained like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, let's move on.
That would be a good excuse as to why they follow liberalism.
Well, that's the thing. I'm a history buff, and for the longest amount of time, a lot of the press was actually very conservative. They looked at the government as the government, not Democrats and Republicans. They looked at everything as, if somebody was doing something, it didn't really make any difference if they were a Democrat or Republican. If it was something that was stupid, they would report it as stupid.
Right, exactly.
And it just seems, I'm not sure.
The watchdogs for the people. That's what they were supposed to be.
Yeah. We've gone from a public. I mean, I've said this in the past, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Network, but I think that is probably the most prophetic movie ever made in terms of what the media was turning into back in the 70s. It's just phenomenally insightful that somebody picked up on this idea of the news going from a public service to actually entertainment, and the whole thing that entailed after that. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, but
it's taken its place.
Yeah.
Idiocracy, I think, is starting to take its place as prophetic.
Yeah. But I that's why Howard Beale is kind of like my soulmate. I just I relate to this guy
in so many levels, and it's scary sometimes.
Go to your window.
Yeah, well, everybody else, Ebenezer Scrooge had ghosts of Christmas past. I've got visions of Howard Beale up there. We're mad as hell, and I'm not taking this anymore. That kind of stuff. So let's move up in our quotes here. Number 9 here.
Speaking of mad as hell.
Number 9 here. Number 9. This is from Carly Fiorina. Now, I don't consider Carly a conservative, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt on this. I've got 2 people on the list here who I do not consider conservatives, but I felt what they were echoing was a conservative thought. So that's why she was included here. And she says, this is in the Republican debate on January 28th. Unlike another woman in this race, I actually like spending time with my husband.
Yeah, it was a good line. It was. I don't care for her, Fiorina, but that was a good line. It was.
Yeah. In the beginning of the race, to be honest, when it first started, she was in my short list. And then when she came out with her comments about the fact she wouldn't mind a Muslim in the White House because she thought, people of all faiths would, yeah. I just went, okay.
I have a bone to pick with her being as intelligent as she is. That 2 weeks after 9/11, the speech that she gave, and I don't know if I don't have it in front of me right now, but praising the Ottoman Empire. And they committed genocide, against Christians, in particular Armenian Christians, to try to wipe them out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she was singing their praises in this speech. And I thought, stupid, deaf, or, well, look what she did here. If she really felt the way she did about Trump, then why did she go into, when they asked her to come into, to be vetted for a position in his cabinet? She's just like any other politician. Yep. She's full of it. She is.
Yeah. She had me fooled out here because when she ran for Senate out here in California, mm-hmm. She had an excellent campaign. She ran an excellent campaign, but running as a Republican for Senate out here is pissing into the wind right now. And so, she was undermined in a lot of ways by the media out here. And so I was kind of sold on her. But there were a couple of things that she said during the presidential campaign, and she just chipped it away. And I just went, nah, this isn't the one we want. That's just okay. She's a decent gal, I guess. But not somebody I want sitting in the White House.
Right. Remember, the funny thing is, they didn't finish the sentence. She was the first female CEO of blah, blah, blah. But you didn't finish the sentence that she ran the company into the ground. So how come nobody came out with that one?
Well, I would actually disagree with that because I followed that very closely living out here in California. Mm-hmm. She did what she had to do at that time. The tech industry was melting down, and she did. And some of the board members that tossed her out had since come back and said, no, what she did actually saved the company. But there was a lot of things, she hacked jobs. She sold stuff to Iran. I mean, there were some things that she did that were certainly questionable. But there was a very, Tom Cooper, I think his name was, one of the board members. He said the environment there at Packard at that time was very, very hostile. And there was a lot of infighting going on and everything. And he said, actually, in hindsight, everything she did actually saved the company. It just nobody noticed it at the time. So I give her kudos for that. But trying to convert that, not unlike Trump, who was able to take his business experience and make it into a viable political platform, she just wasn't able to do that. And so she just fell off my list here.
Well, yeah, it was her speech 2 weeks after 9/11 that I have first and foremost, I would not have wanted her in any position because she doesn't understand Islam. That to me right now would disqualify you. Second is that if she felt that way, which I didn't agree with her about Trump, but if she felt the way she did about some comment he made 11 years ago off the regular, was just a locker room blather, If she really felt that you took umbrage as a woman, blah, 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 blah. If you really felt that way, then how come you didn't follow your conviction? Well, see, that goes to character. So you don't know Islam, or maybe you do know it, and you didn't give a flying Walenda about innocent, Christians and infidels being killed, or you just care about your political career.
Well, she certainly fell into the Mitt Romney bucket of okay, Don, yeah, you won. I hate you, but give me a job.
Yeah. I mean, that's hurling material right there. He's really. Doesn't it speak volumes? He's out there, goes out of his way to try to slam and discredit Trump, saying he want trickle down bigotry, trickle down racism, and then the minute he asks him to come in to be considered for a position, he goes like a panting dog. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, the fact that Trump even entertained it, whether he was giving him a head, what was it, a fake? What was that? What were they calling it, Joe? Head fake?
Head fake.
Yeah, whether he was giving him a head fake or not.
Hey, here's a little bone. Oh no, not your bone.
Yeah. He was doing the Charlie Brown football thing. Come up and kick the ball and then pulling it up.
I think he was doing that. He was just asking him, and he was exposing to people who were awake and aware that this is what this guy is all about. Yeah. He is, it's a facade. He's like a marshmallow. He's got no spine on the inside. So, he was like, you had to hold your nose when he was running, know?
Yeah, anyway. But even more to the point, the comparison between the relationship between Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and that's what really zinged me, because I tell you that I don't know, their bedroom must be so cold they can hang meat.
Bang bang boom.
Whoa.
I don't even. It's hard to imagine that image, and I just really don't want to. But
so let's move on to number 8 right now.
Yeah. Okay, number 8. But yeah, since we're talking about sex, let's go to number 8 here. And this is, I think, one of Newt Gingrich's best zings of the year. Talking to Megyn
I watched
Kelly.
this as it was going on. This was great.
Yeah. This exchange he had with Megyn Kelly, who I detest. I detest
you, kiddo. Yeah.
I detest Megyn Kelly more than I detest Rachel Maddow. That's how much I detest her.
Hard, yeah.
Okay, this is a woman. This is a plastic fake woman. And she's not a conservative. She admits she's not a conservative. She calls herself an independent. And independents to me are armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, independent. Yeah, that's like O'Reilly. I'm independent. I don't have an ideology. Of course you do. If you have opinions, then you have an ideology. They want to. This is what they're saying to you. If you understand that, you can translate it properly. I'm not going to show you what I am, even though smart people will figure it out. I'm not going to show you this way. I can say this and fool these people, and say that on the other side of the fence and fool them, so I can keep my ratings up. Anybody that continues to watch her, I'm sorry, with all due respect, doesn't have a lot upstairs that's alive.
Yeah, I agree. To me, an independent is somebody who has wants the right to criticize everybody but take responsibility for nothing.
Nothing, exactly. They want to sit on the fence, and to me, I kind of take the position that God does. I wish you were hot or cold, but since you're lukewarm, I spew you out of my mouth. Yeah. So, hello.
Yeah. Boy, we're just really putting out the images today, aren't we?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, the quote from Megyn Kelly.
Say the quote. Yeah, say the quote.
The quote from Megyn Kelly.
No, from Newt Gingrich to Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, Newt Gingrich to Megyn Kelly when she alluded to the fact that Donald Trump was a sexual predator. And
which Audrey mentioned about the tapes and everything from back 11 years ago or so. Yes.
Yeah. So
when she's talking about that was absurd, because this is the woman that has so much respect for her own gender that she posed like a hoe for Maxim, right? Was that? Yeah.
And well, back in the day too, Playboy too. But anyway, let me get the quote out here because we got to go to commercial. Newt Gingrich slammed her for it. He said, "You are fascinated with sex and you don't care about public policy." And I thought, boy, what an accurate description, because she really calls, she's like, she is to the women's movement in her own mind what Glenn Beck is to Israel in his own mind. He's the self-ordained patron saint of Israel. She's the self-ordained patron saint of women's movement, that kind of stuff. And so that was number 8.
I feel sorry for he's just mentally, he's gone.
Yeah, I know. Something happened to that guy. I don't know what.
Something is wrong. I think his hormones are in imbalance. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because he used to cry at the drop of a hat, and I'm like, hey, I'm a woman, and I don't cry that much. So
I don't know. I think he's latently bipolar, and everybody's just beginning to figure it out. We got to go to a quick.
I don't know what it is, but I'll say quote number 6 is my favorite if I get to choose.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll skip down to that, because that's about what kind of time we're going to have when we get back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, where right is never wrong. Okay, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews. Along with Joe Hakos, we've got Audrey Russo doing her segment with us. Last segment for 2016. We're down on number 7 real quick here. Another woman I've come to admire greatly, KellyAnne Conway, Trump's campaign manager, and she was being asked about being the first woman campaign manager to run a campaign, and by the way, win that campaign. And she says, basically, I'm the first woman to run a presidential campaign. It doesn't get covered a lot because I'm in the wrong party to have done that and worked for the wrong candidate to have been recognized to do that. And that's KellyAnne Conway. I think she was in an interview with CNN. Or it may have been, CNN. I'm pretty sure that's where it was at here. So just an astounding woman. Quick comments on that, Audrey. What do you think of KellyAnne Conway?
Yeah, she, of course, is not given the credit she deserves, and that's because the left is too small. They are not big enough people to give credit where it's due. She did an amazing job, and she continues to do so. Shame on them that they are so small that they can't recognize. They can't. As I said, they're just weenies. Okay, dangerous weenies, but they're weenies nonetheless.
Yeah. Just think about it. If what's that girl's name? Palmieri, Janice Palmieri. If Clinton had won, just think of the accolades that would have been laid at the feet of Janice Pennell and Mary. She would be, next to God, the Virgin Mary, or something like that. She would be just elevated. Yeah, this is what women are all about. Yeah, let's continue our campaign to emasculate men and castrate them and everything else. Listen, let's go down to number 6 here, because I know this one you like, and a lot of people don't even know who this woman is. This is what I like. I like a conservative that stays in the background, but really has a lot of influence. This is Phyllis Schlafly, who, by the way, died this year, I believe.
Phyllis Schlafly, as a matter of fact, I had her on the show 2 months before she went to be with the Lord. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's a fascinating woman. When I looked at about a list of her quotes, and I had a hard time choosing. Really had a hard time choosing, because they were all, it was like listening to Margaret Thatcher. I had the same.
But this quote that you picked here is incredible.
Yeah. The quote. Here's the quote. I'll give the quote, and we'll give Audrey time to comment on it. The purpose of our military is to field the finest troops possible to defend our nation and win wars. The goal of feminists, however, is to impose a mindless equality regardless of how many people it hurts. And that's conservative icon Phyllis Schlafly. From her blog, Male and Female Still Matter in Combat, posted in the Eagle Forum on May 18th of this year. Your comments?
And bingo was his name-o, okay? There isn't anything that you could possibly say that... I wish we could take that quote and cram it into the minds of the left, because they cannot understand it. They can't understand it. And if they do, then they're a lot more evil than I thought they were.
I think the sign of a good conservative is somebody who can take a thought and in just a few words articulate it in such a way that it's impossible not to understand what they're saying. And that's what this woman does. Every one of her quotes I read is like, geez, this woman can take 1 or 2 sentences and explain an entire concept.
Well, that's it. And what she explained there, they have been doing all along. They're still doing it. And, of course, it's going to come to an end under General Mattis. So.
Yeah. Okay. Joe, your comments.
No, thankfully. Phyllis was a great conservative. And if we could have just had more Phyllises out there, it would have been, we might be getting somewhere with these choices that feminists think they have to make, and how much they care about the women of the nation and the world.
Women, if they happen to be in the womb, okay, those don't count.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Yeah, it's basically there's an age limit. There's quote unquote an age limit on murder. It just happens if you happen to be born, then you can't do it. But up until then.
I guess with feminists, it's location, huh?
Oh, you real estate mogul, you.
A great closing zinger there, Audrey. We're out of time here. I wanted to give you time to promote your show.
Oh, gosh, you have to catch it this week. We have from the Heritage Foundation, Dr. James Carafano will be with us.
Oh, great.
And, Dr. Andrew Boston will be with us, too. And who else? None other than Super Bowl champion Burgess Owens will be back with us. So that's going to be great.
Wow. Well, we want to just extend, once again, our thanks to you, Audrey, for your contributions this year to our show here. You as along with the other guys, have made this show what it is. It's Joe and I are just basically the compass, but you guys are the ones that add the substance to it, and so we really appreciate it, and we too look forward to a great 2017.
Yes, and my honor and my pleasure. God bless you guys. Wish you a happy. Let me see. Go through the whole thing. No, just a blessed in every way New Year. I look forward to joining you again.
All right, my dear. All right, we'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, guys, we're coming up time at the top of the hour here. Time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll pay some bills, and we'll be right back with the rest of our list. Top conservative quotes for 2016. We'll be right back.
Is America being plagued by slobs or liars? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, as an American, I am embarrassed by the millennial generation display of utter disdain for America, the rule of law, and common decency. However, the real blame for the young adult crybabies on college campi throughout our republic and The nighttime streetwalkers who seek to kill the American dream, steal our national joy, and destroy private property lies with the hippy-dippy-era parents who raised them, along with the legions of government school educators who did their best to indoctrinate students against authentic American history, real science, Judeo-Christian ethics, and even the traditional family. It is comical to witness individuals who claim great fear over the possibility of Trump harming Muslims, immigrants, LGBTQ people, and minorities. First of all, Trump consistently called out illegal immigrants, Muslim terrorists, LGBTQ activists, and other progressive groups who were not genuinely seeking equal participation in America, but are working to overcome our laws and ultimately destroy our way of life. And that's the truth of the matter. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by CitizensUnited.org.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet, baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right. Hey, we are back. Hour two right here at the Conservative Syndicate, our last live broadcast for 2016. I am your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we are covering the top 10 conservative quotes for the year 2016. Monday and Tuesday, we spent all the time on the top liberal, and it took more time. It was easier to do. Let me kind of lay something out for you here. It was very easy to compile the liberal talking points of the year because most of them were just repetitions of the same talking points that are disseminated on a regular basis throughout the media and to those who lead the party or represent the party. And you can almost, you could take one quote off a liberal list that we put out, and you could actually... I could have tied that quote to 20 other liberals out there. It might have been worded just a little bit different, but the thought would have been the same because none of them think for themselves. They're told what to say and how to say it. And I guess at some point in time, it just really does. It's like invasion of the body snatchers. It just kind of takes over. And even if you're intelligent, you just, echo those things. I think, wasn't it, Scott, yesterday we were talking about Robert Reich, that, an intelligent guy, but his ideology, I mean, I don't know how people do that. I don't know how you become intellectually exemplary, but then your ideology and your thinking is just so bass-ackwards. It just blows my mind. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, he's like he said. They just get into a bubble. They get to be around each other, and they all say the things and pat each other on the back, and they just they slowly go crazy. This is the best way I could think about it.
Yeah, well, it's something that I guess it's one of the great mysteries that how you can have a high IQ or the ability to reason things out and then come up with the wrong conclusions. I mean, it's not like these guys are stupid or dumb. It's that you have all the facts in front of you. You have the all that other stuff going on with you, and yet it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just a matter of they get, I think it's truly because they're all in the same mindset, quote unquote, and they don't get out to hear any other opposing views on anything. So, if everybody says, yeah, that idea is great, even though it's probably not great because you never hear anybody else tell you it's not great.
Yeah, it's the old nobody wants to tell the emperor he's naked. All right.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. It's like, hey, you don't have any pants on today, buddy. Well, what are you talking about? I have pants on. These are great. I feel free.
and nowhere better do we find that with Barack Obama. A lot of people consider Obama to be intelligent. I don't consider him to be intelligent. I consider him to be a good student, somebody who is shrewd and has learned to master what he was taught. That doesn't make him intellectual. It doesn't make him intelligent. It makes him, he is the ideal liberal because he can be transformed into what his mentors wanted him to be. So, there's a big difference between coming to these conclusions on your own and coming to these conclusions through programming.
Yeah, I mean, Barack Obama is good at this. He can read from a teleprompter. His speaking ability is not that great. If you listen to him speaking extemporaneously, he does not do a very good job.
No.
It's full of verbal pauses. And as Scott was saying last night, he can kind of lull you into this trance and makes you think about what did he say. Oh, you don't even worry about it. And all of a sudden, if you're not paying attention to him, it's like, hey, he just told you that he's going to go and kill all your children, and then he's going to chop them up, put them in a blender, and then he's going to feed it to your dog.
And you want to get up and go vote for him.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? And seriously, and it's kind of like, hey, listen to what the guy's actually saying, people. Yeah. And, it took a lot of people 2 years to figure it out, but that was already 2 years too late. And that was 2010. And then it was like, okay, time to change things. And we could only change things that back then was the only thing you could change was in Congress and a few Senate seats. And then later on, and as we were saying before, he's lost how many seats out there to for the Democrat Party since he's been in office? 1, he's probably been the worst thing that ever happened to the Democrat Party.
Yeah, 1,042 seats total all across the state spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, but he's been great for Barack Obama.
Yeah, and he was selected as the most admired person this year in America again.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, well, at least in the minds of Democrats, that's a given here. I was just thinking real quick here, I want to say this because we got to go to break here. When Scott was talking yesterday about the trance thing, I remember an interview with Carlos Santana, and they were talking to him about his style of music and the way he plays. I've always loved Carlos Santana, his music. His politics, like most liberals, suck, but his music, Santana was one of my favorite groups. And he said that was his goal when he played music, is to lull people into trances. He said, when I write my riffs and I work out my rhythms, everything is with the idea of putting people into a trance. And that's really what music does. It does. Whether it's good music or bad music, the intent is to bring you to a place, an emotional place. And, and that's what it's for. That's what it's designed for. And so, it's very much very real, and I think Obama kind of copped to that in the oratory sense. I've always thought his greatest attribute was his ability not to show his anger or distaste for what's being asked him. His ability to maintain a calm presence, even though inside he's got to just be eating up because towards the end of his administration here, and even now, his anger is coming out more and more. And once he leaves the White House, he's going to become that angry black man that everybody doesn't know that he really is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, anyway, we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, and we'll get into the rest of our list here. We're down to number 5, so we're about halfway through. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, where right is never wrong. Okay, we're back. This is the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. We're doing our top 10 conservative quotes for 2016, and we're at number 5 on our list right now. We're going to get into some of them. The next 2 or 3 are kind of deep little topics here, because I did try to pick quotes that were that did lead into some of the more controversial issues, and some of them are just simplistic. Some of them are just, we could have talked a lot more about Phyllis Scalfly's comment about feminism. That's a never-ending issue, because that's something that's been going on since the beginning of time, since Eve first deceived Adam. It's been that's where the feminist movement was born. Okay, and I think God acknowledges that when He says to the woman, "You will desire to rule over your husband." And, women will, or the feminine side of this creation will endeavor to usurp their assigned role by God. And, I know, when you talk about that kind of stuff these days, it sounds chauvinistic within the paradigms that are being put out there from the feminists. But the point being is that God created roles for each of His creation, especially with a man and a woman. And it's not that one was subservient to the other. It was that they were just different roles. And each one functioning properly gives you the whole as it was intended to be. So,
yes, and Phyllis was talking about men and women in the military.
Yeah, and the idea that a woman. I mean, I would have. I don't know. I could not serve in the military today. I had issues back when I was in the military. Things that I saw going on. I did not like serving under Richard Nixon as our commander-in-chief. But and I saw some things. I mean, we were at the cusp. I was in the military. We were at the cusp of the feminist movement coming into the military. I actually trained the very first female air crew member that came into for submarine warfare. I was the one that was dubbed that. It just happened. It wasn't that I was exceptional. It's that she happened to be at our base. And as a flight operations supervisor, I drew that duty. So, even that bothered me. When you couldn't. And I remember I got in trouble. I don't know if I told this story before. I might have, but I got in trouble because when I took her out on a flight, when we first take them out on flights, they fly as observers. And basically, when you're an observer on the flight, you're basically the gopher. You do whatever dirty work that nobody else wants to do. And one of the things that you have to do is empty the urinal. She did not want to do that. And I said, you got to empty the urinal. And she said, well, I didn't use it. I don't care if you used it. That's your job at this point in time. You earn your bones. And she gave me a hard time about it. And I said, well, then I'll just write you up for insubordination. And we'll just kill this thing right off the top. And she did it, and she grumbled about it. So then I told her to put on the intake covers. I said, I want you to climb out on the plane, on the engines, and chalk them up. Put the intake covers in the intakes. Oh, I shouldn't have to do that. I said, yeah, that's an observer's function. That's what you do.
It's part of the air crew.
Yeah,
part of the air crew or not part of the air crew.
Yeah, this isn't. We're not setting up a vanity mirror in the back so you can work with your makeup during flight. Climb out there in the engine and do it. And my trick was what I always did. The first time whenever I was training somebody for crew, I would tell them to climb up in the intakes, but I would not tell them to put gloves on.
Oh, bad move.
And the reason I would do that is because once you burn your hand once, and you'll never forget to put your gloves on.
Yeah, exactly.
and she went ballistic. And she went in and talked to the old man, and he called me, and what are you doing to this woman? I said, she's not a woman. She's an air crewman. This is how we train. Okay, well, you got to take it easy. No, I don't. Then get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
I got in a lot of trouble for that. So he dressed me down pretty well. John, I'm short. That's what he told me. I'm short. I got 6 months left. Don't make my life hell, all right?
Yeah, I don't need this crap. I can just hear the conversation now.
Anyhow. But yeah, this idea of putting women in combat, think about it. Think about being out in the foxhole. Would that woman be able to drag you, be able to lift the body weight of a 250-pound guy and drag you in, if you were wounded out there and you get, I don't think so. It would take a special kind of woman to be able to do that. But then you get into the what do you want to call it? The biological makeup, What if you tell a woman, you know what, we can't let you in combat because you can't save somebody's life if you have to? And that woman starts complaining, well, is that the only qualification? You can just see how this is going to play out along,
It is for the person who has to be dragged out of somewhere.
Yeah. How about the fact that women soldiers get captured? Do you know what they'd be subjected to?
Yeah, we've heard all this. We've heard all this before. So hopefully soon this all will come to an end, somewhat, because the social petri dish that the Barack Obama and his cohorts have tried to make the military should hopefully get put away for a while.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Now, like I said, I don't expect Trump to be out there walking point on these things, but I hope somebody does. And, let's put some bills across his desk that will undo some of this trash. Let's repeal where we can. Let's change where we must.
Yeah.
And, let's hope that happens. Anyway.
Let's get on to the next one.
All right. We're at number 5 here. Like I said, this is kind of deep. Thomas Sowell, who, by the way, today announced that he's basically going to be pulling out of the pundit business, writes from National Review for those of you who may not know. I deeply respect this guy. He is one of those gentlemen who really has looked beyond the color barrier and sees things through a non-color prism, I guess, for lack of a better word. I'm trying to find the right words here, but very objective in his views and stuff like that. He writes, I've read a lot of his stuff. I like him. His quote, "Nothing so epitomizes the politically correct gullibility of our times as the magic word diversity. The wonders of diversity are proclaimed from the media, extolled in the academy, and confirmed in the august chambers of the Supreme Court of the United States. But have you ever seen one speck of hard evidence to support the lofty claims?" As Thomas Sowell, writing for National Review, justifying exclusion through diversity. And what he's alluding to is diversity is something that is it provides good political leverage from the left, and it allows them to target and demonize those on the right who may have a belief system that does not condone certain things. Homosexuality, for instance. That's called diversity these days. We should be allowing homosexuals to do everything that heterosexuals do. And I think, okay, well, as human beings are human beings, and they have the right to choose the lifestyle they want to lead. But I don't want this type of person dealing with my 5-year-old kid in kindergarten. I don't want this. I don't want this kind of person sharing the locker room with my daughter. Or at this point, it'd be my granddaughters. But the point being is that, no, diversity only goes so far. But diversity is one of those liberal words that they use, and they use it to encompass whatever talking point or narrative they're trying to advance. And it's like, I'm trying to think of another word that they use that just kind of encompasses everything. Patriot. There you go. Or hero. There's a word that's slung around today. Hero. Everybody's a hero.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's not not by definition. They aren't. And so diversity is one of those words. It's one of those words that you can. I remember listening to Frank Luntz. Let me put it this way. I remember listening to Frank Luntz talking to a group of liberal activists, trying to basically explain to them, these are the words, this is how you approach conservatives if you want to share your message. He was actually kind of coaching them. If you want to gain some ground here, and it was in some documentary I saw, and he was saying something like, and Susan Sarandon was in the group, and she grasped what he was saying, and she said something like, yeah, instead of calling people insurgents, we call them freedom fighters. So you find a word that encompasses and lulls you into a sense of unification, and diversity is a very good word with that. It's diverse.
Yeah, it's liberal doublespeak.
Yeah, we're a diverse nation because we're made up of different nationalities and religions and now different genders.
Yes, but to be diverse, you have to divide things.
Yeah, that's right. That's the root word of diverse, is that there's a division. And so what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to embrace all diversity.
Yeah.
And that is not true. That you cannot do that, because what if we embraced every aspect of diversity out there, what do we have? We have a mob.
Yes.
Okay.
As we saw in the malls throughout the nation this past weekend.
Yeah, you have a mob. And the mob is not, and believe me, the mobs that we're seeing these days are not really that diverse. I'll get it and maybe get into that a little bit later if we got time. But here's my point. My point is that when you talk about diversity, what you're talking about is trying to be all things to all people. You can't do that. You come into this republic, this nation, this society, and you have to a great deal, assimilate into the traditions and heritage of society you're coming into. But because of diversity, we want to redefine society. We want to redefine history. We want to do away with traditions so that everybody feels accepted. But what you end up with is a mush of nothingness. There is no foundation. There is no parameters. Everything is just there, and it's whatever you want it to be at any given point in time. So, yeah, I thought very deep comment. You got anything to say here, Joe?
It's absolutely right. I mean, just diversity is just it's a multiculturalism. It's the same thing. It's not going to work. It's not working in Europe. Just watch what's going on there. It's not going to work here. It's not because they can't do it right, because they're not the right people to do it. It just doesn't work. People are people. Moreover, throughout the world, I mean, we don't have a special breed of people over there somewhere. They were brought down from the heavens. You know, they're special. No, that's not how it is. People are still people. Human nature is human nature. Period. And but you can't get a progressive, liberal, multiculturalist to figure that out. They'll never figure that out because, well, it's a disease.
Yeah, I love that. The disease of idiocracy, or the disease of liberalism, terminal disease. We're going to go to a break here. I want to read this. I'll read you a little quote here. I stole this from somebody today on social media. I want to share it with you, and then we'll go to commercial here. But this will definitely, I think, exemplify or illustrate what we're trying to say here. Please accept with no obligation, implied or implicit, my best wishes for an environmentally conscious, socially responsible, low-stress, non-addictive, gender-neutral celebration of the winter solstice holiday, practiced within most enjoyable traditions of the religious persuasion of your choice or secular practices of your choice, with respect for the religious secular persuasion and or traditions of others, or their choice not to practice religion or secular traditions at all. I also wish you a fiscally successful, personally fulfilling, and medically uncomplicated recognition of the onset of the generally accepted calendar year 2017, but not without due respect for the calendars of choice of other cultures whose contributions to society have helped make America great. Not to imply that America is necessarily greater than any other country, or that only America is only America in the Western Hemisphere. Also, this wish is made without regard to race, creed, color, age, physical ability, religious faith, or sexual preferences of the wisher. That's to all the Democrats out there. To all my Republican friends, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2017.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. There's diversity for you. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
City Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a four-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, where right is never wrong. All right. And we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And I want to get into number 5 here. Number 5 on our list of top conservative quotes for 2016. I pulled this quote because I think it exemplifies what we were talking about earlier in terms of how fake news is going to be propagated out there, how it's going to be used, how things that people say are going to be taken out of context to create a whole different impression and narrative. Now, we know the media has been doing this for quite a while, but given the fact we have Donald Trump in here, who every little single thing that he does or says, or anybody on his staff for that matter, we're going to hear a whole lot more. I expect a lot of attacks against KellyAnne Conway, although you'll probably never see her very much in the public light. But I guarantee you, somebody somewhere in some liberal room right now is trying to dig up dirt on KellyAnne Conway so that the feminist side of the Liberal Party can undermine her and, smear in the same way they went after people like Monica Lewinsky and some of the other people that were accused, who accused Bill Clinton of sexual molestations and stuff like that. So I guarantee you it's going to happen. KellyAnne Conway demonstrates or exemplifies everything that is right with the conservative articulation of the message, and so therefore she has to be destroyed. You just watch me. Mark my words here. This is Steve Bannon, a much easier target for the media. Steve Bannon, the guy that took over Breitbart after Andrew Breitbart died, still under mysterious circumstances by some accounts. And this was an article that was written by Ronald Radish. And the quote came out of this article. Number 4 in our list. Lenin wanted to destroy the state, and that's my goal too. I want to bring everything crashing down and destroy all of today's establishment. Now, this is Stephen Bannon, and this is a purported conversation. This isn't on the record. This was a conversation that the author who wrote about this at the Daily Beast, I believe it is. Yeah, the Daily Beast, August 21st, 2016. He wrote about this article. He wrote this article. And according to his report, this conversation actually took place in November of 2013. So, I had a little bit of a quandary whether I wanted to actually use it. But since it was reported in 2016 that it was said in 2013, I used it because it deals with the bigger issue of the fake news and how things are going to get pulled into the narrative by the left that Donald Trump is basically a white nationalist. That's the narrative. That's the message. Okay? Steve Bannon, this is the article. Steve Bannon, Trump's top guy, told me he was a Leninist who wants to destroy the state. Notice the headline. Not the establishment, as the quote says, but the state. Yeah. So the narrative is that Steve Bannon wants to destroy the government. Okay? He's not talking about the government, and you've got to put this in context. That's why I pulled up the actual article. And this guy, Ronald Rodash, said he talked with him. This is at a party they were at in November 12, 2013. And this is right after Paul Manafort, I guess, resigned. I'm sorry. I took that out of context.
Well, it was when he resigned back, because Manafort resigned. That's what brought Bannon into the public light because he became Trump's guy in the campaign. Right. So,
it was a book party. They were having a book party in 2013. I guess somebody at Breitbart, maybe Bannon wrote himself, I'm not sure. He was the story goes that he was standing next to a picture of his daughter, who was a West Point graduate. This would be Bannon's daughter, and she was a lieutenant in the 101st Airborne Division. She was serving in Iraq.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
what an evil guy! Just an evil, totally evil guy.
Just an evil kids, And he was saying, I'm very proud of her. He said, then he goes on to say, we had a long talk about his approach to politics. He never called himself a populist or an American nationalist, as so many think of him today. I'm a Leninist, Bannon proudly proclaimed. Shocked, I asked him what he meant. Lenin, he answered, wanted to destroy the state, and that's my goal too. I want to bring everything crashing down and destroy all of today's establishment. He goes on to say Bannon was employing Lenin's strategy for the Tea Party populist goals. He included in that group the Republican and Democratic parties, as well as the traditional conservative press. What Bannon is talking about is destroying the establishment, not the government.
Yes, thank you. I mean, it's the same thing. If you ever listen to the Breitbart Daily Show that's on, or the Breitbart News Show, it has Andrew Breitbart at CPAC saying, I want to destroy CNN and the New York Times and the establishment. He basically says that right there, and there's no getting around. There's no doubt what he wants to do. It's not take down the government. He wants to destroy the liberal establishment media.
Yes, and now this guy goes on to tell us that he actually contacted Bannon shortly before he wrote this article to ask him if he wanted to back it up or whether he wanted to retract it or expound upon it. And Bannon told him, I don't even remember talking to you. Okay? But let me draw the comparison here, because this is what we're hearing more and more about. It's going to be Trump. Everything that Obama did during his administration was lauded and praised and celebrated. Yes. Trump is basically doing the same thing. That's why I asked Don Dix last night in the show. Don't you think that Trump is kind of employing the same tactics that Barack Obama has? I think in a lot of ways he has. He knows how.
But the difference is the media is not on his side.
Right.
The media is on Obama's side.
This time it's in opposition to what the media wants narrated. And so there's a big difference there. But think about this. Isn't Obama a student of Sal Alinsky? Isn't that exactly what Sal Alinsky talks about?
Yes.
Tearing down the state, tearing down the parties, moving from within rather than without. Political revolution from within the ranks. You become the system.
Yes, absolutely. You get more done being part of the system than you will outside the system. Absolutely. It's what they learned out of the 60s, and that's what we have running this country, is all those radicals in the 60s running our country right now.
Yeah, so, and then to try to tie it to the Tea Party. See, because I think you're going to see a resurgence of the Tea Party, maybe not through organizations, but the ideology and the thoughts that the Tea Party was putting out it's going to be a resurgence of it. And it's not going to be Trump out there talking about Tea Party. It's just going to be the general populace is going to start heading back into that thought process, and you're going to start hearing articulation of it. You're going to start hearing, you're going to start seeing movement back to the populist message of the Tea Party. Let's get rid of government. Let's downsize it, not destroy it. Let's put it back to where it's supposed to be.
Yes, exactly that. Limited government,
right?
Pare it down, not have it so darn big. It's bigger than it's ever been in our history right now because of 8 years of Barack Obama. Oh, and let's not just say 8 years of Barack Obama. Let's not forget the George Bush Jr. years as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the second term of his George Bush Jr. The creation of of our lovely NSA.
Yeah, exactly. And you think about it, the conservative magazines and stuff he was talking about, the conservative press, he attacked in this purported conversation, the National Review and the Weekly Standard, that these were left-wing magazines, which this election cycle showed us that these are definitely, if not left-wing, establishment-supported outlets.
Yes. So, I misspoke. The TSA, we had that branch, the Transportation Security and Homeland Security, that increase in government exponentially. And it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So, yeah, we should get rid of a lot of these things. So hopefully we'll see with Trump's picks as for some of these cabinet positions. Maybe we'll see. But let's just get this right. Mr. Bannon is not out to overthrow the government.
No. He's saying let's tear down the establishment. And that is what the rest of America wants, or we wouldn't have elected Donald Trump.
Of course, the fake news item is the fake news item. And so there it is again, fake news.
Yeah, fake news, exactly. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, Joe's got a couple on our list here, so we'll give him the mic here. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, where right is never wrong.
we're back. Conservative Syndicate right here, right now. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hayes.
We're talking about the...
And we are, oh, boy, I hit that button there. I shouldn't have done that. We're coming down to our final quotes of the year for 2016. I want to give Joe time because he's got a couple good ones, Joe. You got the mic.
Hey, okay, cuz. So we wanted to get to our top conservative quotes. Not that Mr. Donald J. Trump is a conservative, but then again, he's going to have to hold some kind of mantle. And so I wanted to get to one of the best lines I heard this time. And so I thought this is these next two you could probably interchange either one of these as number one or number two. But this was Donald Trump, and this was in the first presidential debate. And I thought this was one of the best lines I heard in quite a while, and I think it was a sentiment that carried him through the entire campaign against Hillary Clinton. So let me go ahead and play this for us.
Told you. I will say this. We have a situation in this country that has to be taken care of. I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release my tax returns. And that's against my lawyers. They say don't do it. If she releases her emails.
So, yes, I thought that was absolutely... Hillary, I'll release... Because you remember the big kerfuffle about, Mr. Trump, come on, what are you trying to hide? Why don't you release your tax returns? Well, Hillary, what are you trying to hide? You get those 33,000 emails you deleted, and maybe we can talk. I thought that was just a great line.
Yeah, well, I was just reading today that they are somewhere in Congress. I forget, because it was like a speed read of the article. But they're bringing back investigations into Hillary's emails for some reason. I forget what it was about. I probably shouldn't have spoken without the facts here, but you were talking about it, and it triggered my memory here that I was just looking at something today that this Hillary Clinton email thing is not over. I guess that's the point I want to make.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because the next clip I had, we could make it my number one, deals exactly with that. And again, this is Mr. Trump. Once again, I'm allowed to have Donald Trump in here twice. Might as well. And so this is Mr. Trump kind of talking about that kind of situation. So let's go ahead and get that one in here.
But when you talk about apology, I think the one that you should really be apologizing for, and the thing that you should be apologizing for, are the 33,000 emails that you deleted and that you acid washed. And then the 2 boxes of emails and other things last week that were taken from an office and are now missing. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it.
So, Mr. Trump, I guess the facts will show that Mr. Trump has won. He's going to be the 45th president of the United States, and I hope Mr. Trump holds true to his word here that he did at the debate, and he does appoint a special prosecutor to look into Hillary Clinton's email, because Mr. Trump could never put her in jail as was being shouted at his rallies there at the end of the campaign there. Put her, lock her up. Well, Mr. Trump can't lock her up, but he can put people in place to look into it, get an attorney general to look into it. And even if the FBI director who believes that Hillary Clinton had no criminal intent or whatever, he can still direct his attorney general to look into it and make sure that, hey, we get the facts. And if she did something that was against the law, she doesn't get treated any different in this case, in this nation, when it comes to dealing out justice for it.
Yeah, well, I think I'm hoping that the way Trump handles this stuff, because I think it would put credibility back into the system, and it might even help raise some approval ratings in Congress. And that is not so much to go to the Attorney General and say, hey, I want you to do this, but perhaps whisper in somebody's ear, perhaps somebody like a Ted Cruz or a Trey Gowdy, and say, hey, why don't you start putting things together? Why don't you introduce through Congress that we need a special prosecutor or something? I'm really hoping, because I can see where not being the point man on this would be politically expedient for him.
Oh yeah, I get that, and but what you're talking about is the last 8 years, Barack Obama, his attorney general, has been nothing but a political hack.
Oh yeah,
I mean Loretta Lynch and that other one that was up there. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but I was just like
Eric Holder.
Eric Holder. All I could see was that stupid mustache, and it's just like, these people are nothing but political hacks, and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. They weren't upholding the law. They weren't being the top law enforcement officer in this nation, as attorney general. They weren't going to be the prosecutor for the government, and they should have been standing up there and doing it. I mean, when Eric Holder stood up there and said, hey, those guys with the new Black Panther Party at the polling place, they were just out there trying to help the little old ladies get their vote in. Don't mind the clubs or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that right from the get-go, from the start of this Barack Obama's term as president. So hopefully now we will see less of that, and the attorney general doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it, not so political, just do it because the press is going to make it political no matter what. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who starts it.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't.
It just needs to happen, though.
You can't not make this political, because that's what it's all about anyway. So
no, this is about, hey, someone broke the law, and just as Jason Chavez has told me, hey, did Hillary Clinton's attorneys have access to these emails and stuff that had classified data? Yes, they had access to. Did these attorneys have a clearance to see this material? No, they didn't have a clearance. Then Chavez goes, well, what are we going to do about that? And he's like, what do you mean, what are we going to do about it? Well, can we prosecute? Well, what do you mean prosecute him? Well, in other words, what you're trying to say is there's no need for security clearances then. Well, yes, there is. Well, how come you ain't going to do nothing about this then? If you can't do something about it, then what's the point? And that's exactly, if you can't do something about it, what's the point in having all this? Just like the young man, the sailor that took pictures in a submarine and now is in prison for it.
Yeah,
okay, he didn't have any intent to sell these to the Russians or anybody else. Intent-wise, and that's what Comey's whole rationale was. She didn't intend to do anything here. Oh, really? Yeah. We can't have two systems of government here, two systems of justice here.
Exactly. Now, we got to get down to our number one quote here for the year. Okay, my number one quote for the year is very simple. Donald Trump, third debate, October 18th, 2016. The Supreme Court, it's what it's all about.
Amen. Absolutely. And that's the reason I was jumping up in joy on that night. And I can just now go, and every time I watch the clip of the Hillary supporters crying their eyes out at the Javits Center there in New York, I can just go, the Supreme Court is not yours.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Very simple quote, very simple, very straight to the point, and really sums up the entire election for us conservatives.
Yeah,
we know the banter and the rhetoric and all the back and forth. It's going to continue to go. We know it's going to get amped up to the nth degree. But the point being is that we can salvage the Supreme Court, we can protect, and we can turn back, and we can stop this hemorrhaging known as liberalism. We've got, and that is, the Supreme Court is the whole ball game right now. Right now, that's what it is.
Yeah, for a generation to come. The Supreme Court will be changed. Thank goodness. Thank God that Hillary Clinton did not win.
Yeah. So anyway, honorable mention here real quick was KellyAnne Conway's at the conference, Campaign Managers Conference at Harvard Institute of Politics back on December 1st. Hey, guys, we won.
I heard that before somewhere.
Yeah. Why? What do you mean there's no mandate? You lost 60 congressional seats since President Obama got here. That nails it right on the head. Okay, guys, we're coming up at the end of the show here. Last show for the year. We'll have archives coming up on Thursday and Friday, but we want to thank you all for a great year. Your listening, loyalty, comments that I get out there on social media, emails that I get. I'm even meeting with one of our listeners tomorrow. Wants to take me out for coffee. So we're going to go out. Anyway, thank you all. We'll be back in 2017 live with a lot of new stuff because it never stops. God bless you all. Have a good year.
for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.